Hey, it's First Frontier Forward today. Super excited to have Terry Anderson with us from the St. Francis Business Consulting Department. You're a business consultant for St. Francis, Terry. Thank you for being here and talking to us today.
Yeah, no, thanks for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here.
So this is very important right now. You know, we're in a phase of the whole coronavirus and the shutdown where everybody's opening back up. People are starting to get back to work and maybe having questions about their finances or questions about how to move their business forward, how to market correctly. And that's where you kind of come in, right? You stepped in to establish, to work with established businesses that are affected by COVID. Tell us a little bit about your position and what you're seeing throughout the area right now.
Yeah, so my position particularly, I was hired by the St. Francis SBDC under a contract to specifically work with businesses that were affected by the COVID. So whether it was, they have to be established already, but businesses that either had to close because of COVID, lost business because their customers were closed, having cash flow issues, problems meeting payroll, and then also just trying to market themselves again as they start to reopen. So those are kind of the key areas. But I was brought on specifically to work with established businesses that were affected by COVID. And so most of that right now is revolving around some of the financing programs available for them to continue to meet payroll and be able to, stay competitive during COVID. But then outside of that, I'll work with them on, kind of working on business model, adapting their business model or working with them on how to market, kind of post-COVID.
Which is extremely important. I mean, that's a big part moving forward is a lot of people have had to change their business model. They have to change the way they do things, change the way they sell to people, change the way they interact with anybody who's buying their service or buying their product. So it's really great to have people like you in our area who are able to help out. And anybody right now watching this in the First Frontier, which, we're covering 5-6 counties. Those are the same counties that you cover. So whether it's Bedford, Blair, Cambria, Huntington, Somerset, Fulton, you cover all those areas. That's what St. Francis makes sure that they reach out to that area of businesses and you're able to help them out. So anybody who's listening in that region, in the region that we're in right now, what is happening with like the payment protection program or the payroll protection program? Can you talk about that?
There's a couple options that businesses have. Payroll protection program kind of being the primary one that most have looked at because of the need to be able to either maintain staff or rehire staff if they had to lay them off during COVID. And so that program is continuing right now. There's a deadline of June 30th for applying for it. If you haven't already, and you need some help with that, please contact us. We'll help walk you through that process. But essentially, they made some recent changes to that program to where the amount that they would ask that you spend on payroll was reduced to 60% of the loan proceeds that you get versus 75% when the program first came in. They've also extended the repayment, the maturity date on that from 2 years to 5 years. And they've also extended the coverage period from 8 weeks to 24 weeks in terms of spending that money on payroll. And that money's, they want some of that, or they want the majority of that to be used on payroll for either hiring back staff you laid off or maintaining staff that you've kept on. That other remaining portion can be used to cover, debts that you would normally have to pay during normal operations. It can also be used for mortgage, rent expense, accounts payables, items like that. So, and that's important for them to, keep track of that. Those loans are forgivable as long as you've met the guidelines for spending on that. And one of the recent changes they made on it as well is that if you don't meet the 60%, so let's say you spent less than 60% on payroll, the forgivable, the amount that won't be forgiven was kind of changed to, rather than being the whole amount, to just the difference between the forgivable amount, the 60%, and whatever you use. So if you used 58% versus 60%, that 2% is the amount difference that you'd have to pay back. So that's kind of a benefit to small businesses that, either weren't able to hire staff back, couldn't get staff, couldn't find staff to rehire, or weren't able to maintain payroll for some reason or had to reduce pay for some reason. So that was kind of a nice boon for them as well. And then, with that program, they have, like I said, 24 weeks to spend the money. Don't have to start making repayments on the amount that they have to repay for up to a year. So there's some nice benefits to that. But the deadline's coming up June 30th. So if they haven't applied, they should look to apply.
Now, if they reach out to you, are you able to help them apply and go through the whole process? Is that what you're there for?
Yeah, so we'll work with them one-on-one to apply for that program. We have links to that on our website. If they click on our kind of our alert COVID-19 finance resources on our homepage, it'll take them to the SBA website where they can apply. And if they have questions, that's where they can contact me and we can do right now we're just doing virtual still. We're not doing any face-to-face meetings, but I mean I can share screens and we can walk them through the process.
Very cool. What about the EID, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan? What about the EIDL?
Yeah, so the EIDL, some good news, was reopened yesterday, so businesses can start to reapply for that. Similar program. The disaster loan program is a program SBA already had in place for declared disasters, of which this has been named one. The benefit to that program is businesses can apply for up to a $10,000 advance on that program. So depending on their revenues, they can qualify for up to $10,000, minimum of $1,000. And if they qualify, that money gets automatically deposited into their account. Very cool. Good. I was just gonna say, and if they don't qualify for the loan, they could still qualify for the advance.
And I think it's great that you guys are helping out with these things, because even if somebody goes on to fill out the information for this, it might get confusing. They might have roadblocks. So it's really nice that St. Francis and yourself are set up to be able to help people walk through these programs, because they can be complicated for some people, especially depending on the size of your business, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the nice thing is, like, our program is a funded program, so we don't charge for any of the services we provide. So, I mean, on top of just, the COVID consulting that I'm doing, we'll have consultants that can assist them with, just normal operations, questions on marketing, finance, loan assistance. We have students that are working with us that are helping businesses with their websites, social media marketing, marketing materials development. And then we're, a large referral resource as well. So there are certain operational, functions of a business that businesses really should have a professional working with them with. So we have a huge network of resources we can refer them to as well.
Talk about some of the other funds and grants that are out there. The PA 30-Day Fund, what is that all about? Yeah,
so that's a recent development fund that came up. Some people may have seen recently in the newspaper that they've already raised about $102,000 for that fund, and they've funded about 19 small businesses. And those are really geared towards small businesses that kind of need, some quick stopgap financing. And so what they're offering are essentially up to $3,000 forgivable loans. And so some of the small businesses that, kind of what we refer to as maybe as Main Street businesses tend to qualify for that. And it's a nice little program that they can go online to the PA30dayfund.com, fill out an application, and get up to $3,000 in forgivable loans. And so it's a nice little quick stopgap if they need some cash just to make payroll for the month, or maybe some mortgage or rent for the month, something like that.
Very cool. And the Lowe's grant as well, right? That's another one that's on that list?
Yeah, so Lowe's is working with another financial organization, and they just announced today that they're opening up a grant for small businesses. I just have the information on that, so we've posted it to our website here soon. But again, very similar to the advance with the EIDL, where they can qualify for a small business grant. They'll get, those are kind of concrete amounts. They can do $5,000, $7,000, $10,000, or $20,000 grants. Again, meant towards small businesses. Their focus is, disadvantaged areas, minority businesses as well. They have an application online. Businesses for all of these programs, if they're interested in financing, should probably start getting their financial information together. So, 2018 tax returns, 2019 internal financial documents, personal financial statement if necessary, depending. and have that stuff ready to go. And the more of that stuff they have ready in advance, the quicker that process goes. And then just announced this past week as well, the state is offering a small business grant program that's going to be offered with up to $50,000 grants to eligible small businesses. That grant will be distributed through what are called the community development financial institutions. For our region, that institution is called the Progress Fund, and they're based out of the Greensburg area, but they cover half the counties in Pennsylvania. And so we'll be working with clients that are interested in that, coordinating with Progress Fund to be able to get those grants to them as well.
That's excellent. So giving us all this information, telling us all these things we need to know about to help out our businesses, to keep us afloat, to help us move forward. How can they get a hold of you right now? Somebody's watching this. They need to contact you. They want to get set up. What do they do? Yeah,
so, obviously the easiest way is give me a call. My number is 814-472-3115. It's also on our website at francis.edu/SBDC. Like I said, most of the stuff we're doing via Zoom. They can also email me at anderson@francis.edu. And again, all that information will be on our website as well. And then, if you have trouble getting to the website or that number, if you just contact St. Francis University general number, they have an option to transfer over to the SBDC as well.
Excellent. And businesses out there who are still nervous, wondering what's coming up on the horizon, what should they be concerned about right now? What should they be aware of and paying attention to right now? Any advice there?
Yeah, a couple things that I'm working with clients on mainly is, one is, if you're taking on additional debt, just know that you have to be prepared for how you're going to repay that. And so a lot of these businesses, it's not going to be business as usual when they reopen. So they may have to look at changing their marketing strategies. They might have to look at adapting their business model. If they're a retail store that counted on a lot of foot traffic, that's going to change. And so they may have to look at using a different platform to be able to sell their goods or services. So the main thing is understand, where your market's going to be now that you're reopening as part of COVID, and is how you operated still going to work for them. We may have to help you take a look at changing that platform, adapting your business model in order to meet those needs. And then the other thing is just make sure that you've got a plan for, tracking the funds that you do receive. Should there be an issue where they're questioning the forgiveness on the loan, or, there's an ineligibility issue, just make sure you can keep track of that so that you're keeping accurate records so you can verify that if you need to. But the big thing is it's not going to be back to normal. So, you have to take a good look at your business now to see, are we going to be able to continue to meet our customers' needs? What changes will we need to make to be able to make sure that we can get them our products and services?
Yeah, the only guarantee is everything is always going to change, right? So being prepared for change is very important. And I think I've talked about this a lot, and I know it's a struggle, but this is really a chance for a lot of businesses to innovate and to find new ways to do business. So say we do eventually go back to the normal way of doing business. Now you're going to have other tools in your tool belt, other things that you can use that you may not have had before, that you can sell differently, you can market differently, and take this all, if you do it right, could be an advantage in the future in some way, shape, or form. Do you look at it that way?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of, it's interesting, but in times of crisis is when you really have an opportunity to kind of look at how you're doing things and be innovative in how you're going to carry that out. And primarily it's because a lot of small businesses, that's your livelihood. So you've got to figure it out. And that's where, organizations like ours and resources like you guys and the Altoona Launchbox and ABCD Corp and the Chamber, that's where they come in to kind of make sure that those businesses have the ability and the resources available to be innovative. But yeah, the big thing with that is just their, being creative and, trying things that they've never tried before. Because at this point, they don't really have anything to lose to try something new to reach those customers. And they're going to have to do something. It's like I said, it's not going to go back to normal. And on that note, that's one of the reasons we're going to be partnering with the Altoona Launchbox to develop some virtual webinars here over the next 2 months that are going to specifically work with businesses on, innovative marketing and adapting your business model, essentially effectively marketing kind of post-COVID to make sure that they can stay competitive and be sustainable.
That's super important. And I love that you guys are doing that, making sure that you're reaching out and you're helping people, even if they can't come and meet you in person, making sure virtually we're getting the information that businesses need to get to innovate, to evolve, to survive during these crazy times. So Terry, thank you and everybody at St. Francis for making this possible, for doing this work, and for helping out the whole First Frontier Network. We appreciate that.
Awesome. I'm happy to be here. I'm glad to be back, and I look forward to working with the businesses in our region.
Definitely. Thanks, man. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it.